sessions with panels of speakers, great panels of speakers. And first, I want to thank and welcome our moderators for this morning. We have Thierry Marsic, and he's the Director of Urban Lighting for the city of Lyon, and Jean-François Zuravic, the Director of the Fête des Lumières. They will lead us into the discussion with our speakers. We're very, very lucky to have them on board because it means that we have both the permanent and the event lighting experts. We've asked them to develop the sessions in 2 parts, and of course we'll have a break in the middle. So please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the speakers for the first session, entitled Using Lights for a Creative City. So I'd like to call on stage Maria Güell. She's the artistic director, please, of YUM in Barcelona. Pia Rantala-Koronen, director and advisor to the mayor of Oulu in Finland, please. Anne Wishart, thank you, from Leeds, the arts development manager of Leeds City Council in the UK, and Michel Lemieux from the project Cité Mémoire in Montreal, Canada. Right, I think we can welcome them, and please, Thierry, if you can come back also. Thank you.
Bonjour à tous. Donc on va passer en français. Merci à nos speakers d'être présents. Il était important pour Jean-François et moi effectivement de modérer ces 2 sessions, donc effectivement pour présenter ces 2 lumières qui font la qualité de nos ambiances urbaines. Cette année-ci, donc on a choisi donc avec Marc et ses équipes, donc Jean-François et moi, ce thème de la lumière créative pour thème principal de ce festival. Alors, pourquoi déjà, je tiens à rappeler que la ville de Lyon a souhaité s'engager au sein du réseau LUCI au travers de son plan stratégique sur un de ses piliers, qui est le pilier art et culture. Et il nous semblait intéressant, au travers de ce pilier, de parler de ces lumières créatives. En fait, ce concept de ville créative, on va peut-être revenir à l'origine, le concept de ville créative est un concept qui a été initié donc en 2004 par l'UNESCO. L'idée, en fait, c'était d'identifier sur nos territoires les villes qui développaient une stratégie au travers du développement donc, de l'art, mais dans une dimension peut-être un petit peu plus particulière, qui était de dire que ce n'était pas simplement l'art au cœur d'un territoire comme activité artistique, mais également activité de ville. À Lyon, donc, on a bien évidemment cette fête des Lumières qui est très représentative en fait de cette stratégie, mais pas que. Il y a aussi d'autres événements qui montrent que l'art est capable de sortir de ses lieux habituels. Je pense en particulier à la Biennale d'art contemporain, à la Biennale de la danse, donc qui sont des événements forts et qui rendent en fait l'art plus accessible au public en plaçant finalement ce public non pas en tant que spectateur mais aussi en tant qu'acteur de cette stratégie. Alors, aujourd'hui, donc, nous avons la chance effectivement d'avoir 4 speakers qui vont représenter 4 territoires, 4 villes. Je vais commencer donc, par Maria, donc, qui nous vient de Barcelone, donc, qui dirige notamment le festival Lumières de Barcelone, mais qui a également travaillé sur le plan Lumières de Barcelone en 2012. Donc c'est intéressant aussi d'avoir ces visions croisées entre lumière pérenne et lumière événementielle. Ensuite, Pia, donc, qui est membre actif du réseau LUCI, hein, qu'on connaît bien, et qui représente la ville d'Oulu, donc en Finlande, donc qui va nous parler aussi de cette stratégie lumière donc sur la ville d'Oulu et au travers d'un festival qui se développe toujours plus. Petite information également, donc Pia travaille sur la candidature de Oulu comme capitale européenne de la culture donc, en 2026. Ensuite, Anne Wishart, donc, qui nous vient de Leeds, donc en Angleterre, et qui a aussi donc une belle expérience sur l'animation et des festivals donc, dans le nord de l'Angleterre, donc avec 7 festivals différents sur ce territoire. Et enfin Michel Lemieux, donc de la ville de Montréal, qui nous vient de Montréal, et qui va nous présenter, je pense, une démarche assez originale également sur la manière d'introduire la lumière sur les territoires. Voilà. La place aux speakers, on va commencer par Maria.
Merci Thierry. Bonne journée et je veux remercier le festival pour avoir invité l'UMBCN to participate in this forum. Merci, on est très content d'être ici. Merci beaucoup et à LUCI aussi. What is the LUMBCN Festival? A festival in which leading artists and art design schools combine their artistic and technical skills to transform spaces in the city through the language of light. LUMBCN started in 2012 as an urban light festival. What are the objectives? To highlight the value of urban landscape, to create a new urban code using something as light as an artistic language, to discover and encourage new talents, to involve different disciplines, and to engage the citizen in a light experience. It's a festival that does not aim for a large number of activities, but rather seeks quality and research mainly in terms of space and light. Who is invited to participate? Professional artists, national and international, and light students or by architecture or fine arts or design schools. Where is it located? LUMBCN starts in Ciutat Vella neighborhood, in the old town of Barcelona, which is the historic nucleus in the city, on one of the more lively and varied districts. In 2018, the festival moved to Poblenou Industrial District, an area transformed by renovating modern spaces with a productive and innovating spirit. We can see the Ciutat Vella, and now we are moving in Poblenou, bigger than Ciutat Vella, and not in the center of the city. You can see more density in this map. This is the center, and Poblenou it's by the center. It's not really far because Barcelona it's not so big, but it's not in the middle of the city. Poblenou because it's larger district. I tell this because the whole center it's full of people and the mobility was really difficult for us. Also to highlight the innovation and creative energy from this neighborhood. It's the neighborhood for the technology at the moment in Barcelona. To promote LUMBCN and Poblenou sharing the values and synergies. To take culture beyond the heart of the city. Also, we are interested in this. And to revitalize this area and draw it closer to the people and to make most of the area's potential. What has it evolved? The festival is born by the Culture Department for the City Council with the support of other departments. The Urban Light Festival, designed to transform and bring new meaning to the most iconic sites and buildings of the city, began with a very small format in 2012. Over time, there has been an evolution and consolidation that has been seen above all by the increase in public participation. In 2014, the festival took a step further, working with professional artists and students simultaneously. For the first time, students' architecture and design schools were offered the opportunity to submit a proposal to use the space in a festival. That is a really interesting and key date, the 2014, with when we introduced the schools to participate in the proposals. In 2018, the festival took a step further again, moving to Poblenou district, one industrial now upcoming, because we needed more space for bigger audiences. This is the Poblenou. So, the last edition, the last festival in 2018, the first time that we moved to Poblenou, we increased the audience from 45,000 to 170,000 people. Sorry, 4,500 to 1,700. So we increase a lot of audience. By the professional and student installation have a huge impact, I think, thanks to their high quality and aesthetic appeal. The high profile that social media gives the festival, with thousands of photos are shared to viral, especially via Instagram. People was all of ages, especially young people and families. The huge publicity campaign, but huge, I don't know if it's really huge, but we have some publicity campaign about the festival was extremely effective. And we were really surprised that this last festival to increase in number of the audience, so it's so effective that publicity campaign. We had 48 installations, 34 from professionals, 14 from students. The festival is in the middle of February, in the afternoon. We have the communication campaign trying to outdoor advertising, official program, signage for the spaces, and social media. So the more special proposals are the student proposals. So I want to explain how it does working with the schools. We have 4 key dates with them. In September, the festival is in February, so in September we have we assigned the spaces to the schools. In November, the schools hand in their proposals, which are evaluated for the curator team for the festival. In February, they have 2 days for set up the installations before the opening, and in February, the festival opening. And here I show you one example about one school proposal. In the first picture, we give them the space, and we locate the space in the neighborhood. Then they give us a concept. In this case, the concept was an explosion then the students feel that this area it's in full explosion moment. Then they give us in November the plans, constructed details, fee of the installation. Finally, they give us graphic proposal or graphic pictures, and here we can see the results. So we can compare the graphic design and the result. Okay. So how we work with the artist? We have a big team with artistic director, some consultants, and then the cultural department. We work together. In the cultural department came in some artistic proposals, and the director artistic team look for some other proposals. Then we have discussions, and finally we have a selection for artistic proposals. Now, I want to show you some pictures. The first one are in the old neighborhood, in the old city, in Ciutat Vella. This is a picture from the school. You can see it's in a patio, inside in a palace patio. You can see like a structure, a lamp put inside of the patio, and how the light share with the architecture. In this case, this is a porch, and this is one school working with a manufacturer. Sometimes the schools look for help because we give them some fee, but it's not very huge fee, and many times they work with some manufacturer also. It's another really, really low-tech installation, only with fire, and dynamic installation because they can move. This other one in a small pool in a patio also. It is from theater set design school. This is in a patio from the palace also with this big lamp. This one was like an instrument, a sound and light interaction installation. When people move these chords, they can play music and change the light at the same time. This one looks like a Japanese really low-tech installation, only one source of light in the middle, and it's called shadows installation, shadows space. This one with using the reflections inside of the patio. This is an artist also still in the old town in Ciutat Vella, from artist. Another one from the artist, and 3D mapping in one facade. And now in the new neighborhood in Poblenou, this is from the school, also interactive with salt on the floor and sensors. And when people came in this lighting area, they can change the light of the facade. Was interactive lighting. So schools are really interesting in interactive installations. This is another school. They work with topography lighting and landscape. We have a prize for the best school, and this was the winner the last year for this simplicity. It's just a laser light with smoke, and it looks like a pool. Or really, it was really one experience, really strong experience came in this installation. This is another from the schools and artists installations in Poblenou, Tilt company from France. This is an artist from Barcelona, another artist from Barcelona, another international artist. And I make this comparison that for the last festival, just looking that the artists, they make a lot of installations in projections, but the students are more interested in interactive installations and both work with object and space installations. That it means when they put some structure, lighting structure into the spaces. But projection, it's not allowed for students because it's so expensive, and they make more artisanal works with interaction and objects and lighted objects. So thank you very much, and thanks a lot.
Thank you. Now we go to the north of Europe in Hulu with Pia. So,
thank you, and good morning, everybody. Bonjour, tout le monde. I will tell you about the history of Lyon Light Festival in our city, Oulu. Okay, here is the beginning of everything. You can see city of Oulu in November, typical November, about in noon. So we have so-called daylight about 3.5, 4 hours every day. So it's not so difficult to think that people would like to have some light in the middle of winter time. Everybody knows that it's cold in north, but I can tell you that the coldness is nothing. It's the darkness which makes us depressed in the middle of winter time. So everything began in 2013 when we had a big merge of 5 municipalities in our region. There was the so-called Old Oulu city and 4 smaller municipalities which were merged together. And the new city board began to make a new city strategy, and we decided to have culture as a tool to make a new city, so that we could really have a common feeling that we are living in the shared city. And during the first year of our new city, we had the Lumo Festival for the first time. We didn't know that time that it will be a permanent event every year. But people really fell in love in the festival. It was really something. It was a very cold winter. There was maybe 20 minus degrees in the opening of Lumo Festival that year in November. It's not typical, but it was total success. And after that first one, our city board decided that it will become an annual festival. And right from the beginning, we started to work with the children, because if we think about our population, our city is one of the youngest cities in the whole Europe. We have lots of children and youngsters in our city, and we wanted to work with them during the festival. And every year there has been a participatory piece of light art. They have been situated in the cultural center Valve, which is in the city center. It's easy to reach from everywhere from our large city. This year it was called Dance with Love. The artist was Aini Pihlajaniemi, and she made the piece together with about 1,000 pupils from different schools, so that the school teachers got instructions how to work with the children, and then the artist collected the pieces from every school, and then they were put together at the cultural center. And it's a kind of a way how to try to save the world. Use the clothes together and make something new from them. Here you can see some very traditional Finnish wool socks, which we make ourselves, and they are very, very personal items. Everybody can be creative when making socks themselves. 2017, there was a piece called Colors. It was made by media artist John Collingwood. And the material was videos which were made by children, and they only could use one color in the videos, and then they were collected so that you could see like the rainbow colors in the monitors at the Valve. And you can also see the aesthetics of the everyday things, things that you normally don't notice, but when you begin to study them by video, you can find out some new aesthetic aspects of those things. Before that, 2016, there was a work, My Trash, Your Trash, which was also made with school children, so that the children had to study the trash cans at their homes, and there was also the pedagogical idea that they could think more deeply about consuming things, and is it wise to throw away things that you could maybe reuse and make something beautiful about them. This is one of my favorites of all years. And because the Cultural Center Valve is owned by our city, these pieces have been hanging there more than just the short time of the festival. The only critique which the inhabitants have gave us during these years has been the timing of the festival. They would like it to take longer for the whole dark winter time, but it's not possible because it's quite expensive, as you quite well know. Here you can see how beautiful things you can make out of trash, especially these. These are like jellyfishes which were hanging from a very high hall. And what is the most important thing is that by making things together, visible things together, it makes people feel ownership of the city. It makes the city strategy more visible and something that you can really understand and which you can really share. And if you think that every year about 1,000 pupils take part in these community light art projects, they feel ownership with a piece, and they of course want to bring their families and their friends and their relatives to look these pieces. It makes every year new audiences, people who are not used to going in art galleries or art museums. But light art is something which is there. You don't need to have any special competencies to understand light art. And if we think more seriously about the future of our globe, I think it's very important that we learn our children to work together with common goals. Whether it's climate change or piece of light art, you have the competence to work with different kind of people. And of course, this sustainability has been a very important part every year in these projects. And light art is very easy to access. The audiences have been growing every year. This year there were 150,000 people, although the festival was only for one weekend. But light art is really democratic. And now, as a continuity of this strategy, we are bidding for European Capital of Culture, and the main idea in our bidding process is also that we are not making it for the people, but we are making it with the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Pia. So we continue with Anne Vichard, so from England, and to see how light can transform the cities in the north of England.
Bonjour. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anne Wishart, and I'm here representing Light Night Leeds and Leeds City Council. I am here with my producer and curator, Abby Robinson, and we're here to talk about Light Night Leeds. Leeds is the third largest city in the UK, with more than 170 languages spoken, with a population of 781,000. We have 4 major theatres, an arena, and is one of the only UK cities outside London to boast its own opera house and ballet company. Throughout the city, the creative industries employ nearly 30,000 people across 3,500 businesses. Leeds is now a top 5 UK tourism destination, attracting 29 million people per year, and the visitor economy generated an estimated 1.75 billion of economic benefits, direct and indirect spend for the city, and was ranked 5th by the Lonely Planet for the best place to visit Europe in 2017. Light Night Leeds is an annual multi-arts and light festival which takes over Leeds city centre for 2 nights in early October. In 2018, it was our 14th edition, having started in 2005. This flagship event is the city's cultural calendar, celebrates the range of diverse and thriving creative activity taking place in Leeds, giving local people and visitors to the city free access to art that they may not normally see. Our first Light Night Leeds was a free ticketed event for 200 people in 9 city centre venues. It was an out-of-hours event and attempted to attract a new audience by providing something within the venue that was not ordinarily available. For example, Leeds City Art Gallery hosted a jazz band, St John's Church a high-tech video display, and in Holy Trinity Church created a beautiful sculpture of using light and glass. Now moving to 2018, we showcased over 70 artworks and performances by local, national and international artists across a range of art forms, including video mapping, light installations, street theatre. In 14 years, the budget has increased from 30,000 by 800% to £500,000. This is just a map of this year's festival, because it's in October. We had approximately 70 installations over 10 zones, and we attracted over 81,000 people to the city. As I said, our festival started in 2005 with 200 people. In 2013, we produced our first large-scale video mapping projection on our main building, the Leeds Civic Hall. In 2014, we received our first subsidy grant from the government through the Arts Council of England. In 2016, we increased the festival from 1 night to 2 nights. And then in 2018, just to show you the figures, it was the first year that it majorly rained. So we actually had an increase on the Thursday night of audiences, but we did have a small decrease on the Friday. We were expecting a higher audience. But this is what outdoor arts is. You have to sort of work with the weather. One of the things that we actually concentrate now is not an increase in audience, but an increase in diversity of audience. We are really keen to get a representation of the city to come and visit our festival. Our aim is to produce a free light and arts festival, remove barriers to people accessing the arts, increase the diversity of arts audience in the city, support the work of local artists while hosting world-class international artists in the city, and build the profile of Leeds nationally and internationally throughout the event. We have succeeded on these aims for this year as following our research that we did with our independent evaluator. And we are able to demonstrate that we have had an increase from 2016 of our audience, which was 91% identified themselves as white. We can now say that that's been reduced to 83%. So we have 16% that identify as non-white. So we're really pleased with that increase. How does this fit in with Leeds City Council and Leeds culture strategy? What we want to do is grow the cultural and creative sector. We want to ensure that culture can be created and experienced by anyone. We want to enhance the image of Leeds through major events and attractions. These are our 7 objectives of the culture strategy. If I can draw your attention to the first 2, so for the city to value and prioritise cultural activity, utilising it as a means of improving the quality of life experienced by everyone, person and every community in Leeds, and for culture help build respect, cohesion and coexistence between communities and individuals. These are our key aims for Light Night. So how can a city's lighting strategy contribute to its overall creativity? Light Night introduces the arts to new audiences. This is demonstrated by over 1 in 10 people claim they never attend or participate in arts activities. These statistics are from our external evaluator from this year's festival. The motivation for attending Light Night Leeds. 68% said that was the only reason they visited the city centre. We're really keen to get people to take over the city and to acknowledge that it's not just for people going to bars and restaurants. We want families, we want older people to come in, and we want everyone to experience the festival. So how do we drive citizen engagement? 95% of the audience agreed that Light Night Leeds is a family-friendly event, that it brings about a sense of local civic pride in the area, and that it promotes a sense of social cohesion in the area by bringing local people together. People were asked, what does Light Night Leeds mean to you? People said it was fun, inspiring, interesting, exciting and different. They felt it brings people together and it was good for the city. The average spend was £28.36, with a total economic impact estimated at over £2.4 million. And we have a return on investment is calculated at £4.20. So for every pound invested, we had a return of £4. I should have done it in euros. Apologies, everybody, but we've got Brexit. Not out of choice. How can creative lighting projects also help city engagement? We do 4 areas. We have an illuminated parade that is with the local community. We have the local community being the artists because they create lanterns and illuminated banners. They then participate in the parade, and we have other members of the community participate in the parade. And then we have the audience, because if you're in the parade, you want to bring your family and friends to the event. And it's people that don't normally come to the city that will come in. We do the Light Night Leeds welcome tours. These are guided tours for people who have barriers to participate in the arts. And this is a project that's really close to my heart. It's aimed at hard-to-reach groups who would not normally come into the city and who do not normally participate in the arts. The programme has been running for 3 years, and we support and welcomed refugees and asylum seekers, young carers, people with additional needs and older people. They are collected from their communities, given a guided tour and shown how to access other arts activities in the city so they will come back year-round. We have the participatory programme. So in previous years we've had jar lantern making, and we've had interactive artworks where families and people can get involved. And then also a key thing, and I think it's really interesting being here in Lyon, this is my first visit, the size and scale of the city. Now, while your city is being able to be pedestrianised, that is amazing, we still have sort of traffic around the outer ring. So we actually put on a special bus, a free bus, that goes around the outer ring of the city that enables our participants to get around, so if they're not able to cross the city by foot. One of the projects that I wanted to mention was about how light can work all year round. So this is a project that we found with a German artist. We actually found it first at Winter Lights in Canary Wharf, and we worked with the curator Keith Watson, and we installed these 5 light benches that are from the German artist. And the aim of the benches were actually to engage with light throughout the year, and we put them in a prominent part of the city. I've got to be honest, we had challenges the first 6 months. The area that we put them, we have a really enthusiastic group of young people that are skateboarders and like to do parkour. So I've got to be honest, they were initially damaged, but not out of vandalism, more out of utilising it as part of their skateboarding. But with the suggestion of putting some strategic planters at the side, we have now got the light benches working, and we estimate over 400,000 people in the last year have sat on the benches and been seen by over 20 million. I'm just going to show you a short promo video from last year's festival. Thank you. Just before I finish, it would be remiss of me not to mention that we are part of a network of 7 light festivals, especially as I'm the chair. I just want to sort of mention that in the north of the UK, we are working together to share artistic ideas, we co-commission, and we work and promote together. I do want to just finish with this final slide. It's from a quote from an audience member from this year's festival. To me, Light Night is a unique annual event where the city comes together after dark to celebrate all that is Leeds. We celebrate the people of Leeds, the wonderful buildings and architecture of Leeds, the past, the present and the future of our extraordinary, original and progressive city. Light Night is an immensely immersive experience suitable for everyone, and in terms of national and international culture building, it really puts Leeds on the map. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening.
Thank you, and so the last one, our cousin from Montreal.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michel Lemieux. Actually, Montreal is a great city. Ordinairement, je parle français, mais parce que on m'a demandé de le faire en anglais, so I'll do it in English. So Montreal is a great city for light because, of course, it's a northern city and it's dark really early. So we have a lot of time to enjoy light. There's many festivals in Montreal. Festival Montréal en Lumières, which had the pleasure of doing the opening piece for Festival Montréal en Lumières in 2000. And it's every year a lot of artists are coming and doing this festival. There's a lot of studios as well. Studio I worked with, Normal Studio, Silent Partner, For You to See, and many, many more studio to produce images. There's this new studio that we create, H2 Emotion. You're going to hear about this studio because this production company, because we're going to produce, we are right now in project around the world with H2 Emotion. So I'm an artist, I'm a director, a visual artist, show director, more than 35 years of working and creating, mostly integration of technologies and projection for stage show, art installations, for theater, dance, opera. I commit many creations for Cirque du Soleil as a director. And also always as a show director, but also as well as projection director. I'm currently doing installation for the Fine Arts Museum in Montreal, and we have a project in Paris. So a lot is happening, but something happened in Montreal a couple of years ago. It's still on. It's called Cité Mémoire. And let's have a little look. Let's hope it's gonna work. This is the making of, actually. This kind of project is quite big. So the idea is to go in the old part of Montreal and install ourselves permanently on more than 25 sites in the old Montreal. So you can see the shooting of it, out of it. It's a bit like shooting a feature film, more than 5 hours of original content in 5 languages, and then projected in 25 different movie theater, which are not movie theater actually, which are walls in the city. And sometimes some sites have one wall, sometimes you have many walls, sometimes we project on the floor. Sometimes it's interactive. We're gonna see another video out of it. So this is a promo video. You can see one of the sites. It's about the history of Montreal, so all the tableaus are talking about different eras. You don't have a specific way to visit the thing. You go whenever you want to go. Every time you see one of the tableaux, most of the time you see another one in the far away. So the tableaus actually are functioning, so the walk between the tableau, this is an interactive river, in a side alley, which is, of course, hockey is our religion in Montreal, so we have to talk about hockey. So giant projections, and all the projections are linked with a mobile application. So quite refined. This is projection on trees. Actually, in the summertime, it's more interesting. This was shot in beginning of the spring. We shot actually 375 Montrealers, faces of Montrealers, because in 17 it was the 375 years of Montreal. This is a piece, we had the chance to have the rights to use Suzanne by Leonard Cohen, that was late friends of me, so it's a kind of memoriam of Leonard on the clock tower. So all that is linked with an application, free application. It's really important for us that everything is free. It's for the people, it's for especially people of the city. This is a tableau we opened a year after the grand opening in 2016, this one 2017. On the largest is the Court of Justice, the largest blind wall in Montreal. Let's hope that justice is not blind in Montreal. And it's a bit of recap. All the characters of each tableaus are appearing in this 32 minutes piece tableau. Usually in Cité Mémoire, the tableaus are between, I would say, 5 to 8 minutes. And people, as I say, are guided by this app, which tells you where you are, where you can go. And because the old Montreal is really a place where there's a lot of people living there, we didn't want to put sound. This tableau you just saw, can we hold on? Can we? Okay, we'll do it. This is actually, okay, we'll do it later. Yes, so the application is as well the sound of what you see. You come on site, can you just, okay, we'll see it. You have the choice of 4 languages, French, English, Spanish, and Mandarin. You can find, you can do a day tour, I'll explain it later, or a night tour. Of course, the night tour include, they talk about 20 in this one, but actually now it's 25 tableaux, and we are adding more and more tableaus. So it helps you to navigate, of course, and when you come to a site, you push play yourself. During the day, you can have what we call augmented reality. We have, as this is the augmented reality thing, you push on a button, of course you see the site you are in, how it was 150 years before. And we have as well point of interest on historical facts on different tableaux. And at night, you have this Cité Mémoire, where you come in front of a wall, nothing happens, a little indicators, and then you push play yourself to the phone. Of course, the first one arriving to the site is pushing play. Some places we had to kill some city light to make the projections more interesting. So with your phone, you kill some city light. It gives you a little power trip to really, and then Tableau start 5 to 8 minutes, and the sound is on your phone. So I think for young people, especially that don't want to do anything else than just watching their phone, it's a good way to bring them out there, to bring them on the street, and using the phone, of course, but just for sound. I think nowadays we walk in a city and looking at the sidewalk, which is a good thing if we don't want to kill ourselves. But most of the time, actually, we walk looking at our phone. So this project is really interactive, but as well proactive. It's not possible to experience Cité Mémoire in your home. You have to be on site. The application will just give you the map of Montreal and everything you can see, but you have to go on site to be able to push and look and hear those people. It's a bit like the people that founded this city, the people that inhabit this city. Their soul are still in the stones, in the bricks of the wall, and their soul is kind of, their memory are kind of going out of the wall. So all that is done with a spectacular approach, but an intimate, a kind of breeding between spectacular and intimacy, because in the phone they whisper to you their thoughts and their ideas. This is, I think, a new challenge to put light in our city. I think every time I start a new project, I remember Albert Einstein that said once, he said many interesting things, but he said once something like, we live in a world of profusion of means. That's true, especially nowadays. We have so many technologies, so many ideas to express ourselves. So Einstein said, we live in a world of profusion of means, but of confusion of intention. So I think every project that we do in a city, we have to ask ourselves, you know, the city is already quite visually activated by the light, by the facades of beautiful buildings, by the advertising that puts a lot. So the question is not so much how are we going to do the project, it's much more why are we doing this project. And Cité Mémoire is really about humanism. You saw it's all giant characters. There's little mapping video. For me, mapping video is really interesting. As a pen, is really interesting. It's just a tool that you can use, but it's not. The pen is not writing the book, of course. So we can use all sorts of techniques. Sometimes shadow with your hands could be amazing and very meaningful. I think the most important is to go into the why we do the things and reaching the people, not just into the wow. The wow is really important because when somebody, especially an adult, say wow in front of something, a little door, the door of childhood is open. But if it's just a series of wow, then for me it's not satisfying. When the wow door is open, when you're in awe in front of something, I think this is the time for you, for artists, to just get in this door and touch not only the wonder, but touch the soul of people. Thank you very much.
Merci à tous les participants. On va commencer donc notre session donc, de questions-réponses. À l'issue de ces présentations, moi j'ai envie de poser une question. En fait, moi ce qui m'a marqué dans chacune de vos présentations, en fait, c'est cette envie en fait d'impliquer les publics dans cette lumière événementielle. J'ai noté notamment avec Pia, avec Maria, l'implication donc des étudiants, donc des écoliers, peut-être un petit peu plus donc à Leeds avec le reste de la population. Et j'ai envie de vous demander, vous poser la question suivante. Finalement, quelle est la stratégie des villes justement pour réimpliquer peut-être plus largement l'ensemble des populations? Et notamment, en fait, j'ai envie de vous poser aussi cette question. Cette lumière événementielle est-elle concentrée uniquement sur le centre de vos villes, ou est-ce qu'il y a une réflexion justement pour l'étendre à un territoire plus vaste, c'est-à-dire pas seulement donc, dans la centralité, mais aussi essayer d'approcher et d'intervenir dans des lieux qui sont finalement peu visités par le reste de la population? Je ne sais pas par qui on commence. Pia, peut-être?
Yes, we have a network which is working with our Lumo Festival, and in that network we have both our university and University of Applied Science, so that we have also older students working together with us. We have had illuminated bus which was made by the students, which went around the city so that it brought light also to other places, not only to the city center. It's a big challenge because our area is so huge. But I think that the way we are working with the schools in different areas of our city, it will involve people also from other parts, not only from the city center. In fact, in city center, there are not so many inhabitants. The inhabitants are in the suburbs. Yeah.
Currently, we work in the city with Light Night Leeds, but it is a major consideration, especially with new developments and areas of regeneration where light can impact on well-being and safety. So it is a challenge, and we do work with, because as part of the council we fund over 50 organisations that work across the whole of the city, and we have people in there that do want to work with light art. So it's an ongoing conversation, it's an ongoing development, and it's great to sort of hear other ideas from other cities that we can take back to our own sort of town.
I think you're right. When we do something in a city, of course we want to enlighten the city, but we have to think about that. We impose ourselves, actually, because a lot of people just walk on the street and don't necessarily, especially people living in the places we are doing some lights. Every day with the dog, you know, seeing exactly the same thing for every day with the dog. So we have to respect the neighborhood, of course, and we work for people from our cities, but we work with visitors, with tourism from very different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds. So it's a challenge to elevate the meanings of things instead of just really at the level we think people are. People are not there, people are there. So elevate it without shock, without shocking, but still saying something. So it's a responsibility. You know, at the first of this Cité Mémoire, Victor, my creative partner, we said to ourselves, you know, the city is kind of starting to be overwhelmed by light, especially in Montreal, and a lot of advertising. It's polluting, visually polluting the city. And Montreal is not that beautiful French cities with very coherent urbanism. There was no urbanism in Montreal, so Montreal is really architecturally eclectic, which is a quality in itself, but it's busy, visually very busy. So who are we to pollute more? So when we did Cité Mémoire, what we realized is talking about history, and our ancestors, our grandfather and grandmother were living in a much slower time frame than us. So we said to ourselves, let's go in their time frame. So what we present on those 25 sites is generally quite slow. And it's a challenge because we want to see a lot of image really fast, you know. That's what we see in cinema, that's what we see on TV. And it's counterintuitive to say, let's do something quite slow. And actually, it's touching to see people listening with their phone and watching something which is very slow, and they're just, for once, have time to breathe, in a way. So I think what we project, especially projection, because I'm really into significant projections with characters, and I think it's a big, it's one of the challenges of the 21st century, to slow down a little bit, and to take time to breathe in this speed we live in.
Thank you. I think the challenge is work with the context. So it doesn't matter if the area is in the center or in the banlieue or over the center, but don't work with the more spectacular architecture. Work with the context, even is eclectic. Like our neighborhood now, the new neighborhood, is really eclectic because there is the all usines, also a lot of new and big buildings, but there is many places without identity. So the mix and the eclectic, it's very strong. But the students and the artists, I think that the interesting thing is if they work with the context and not they put something in or they project over. They work with the really spaces, and is the more dignity for the city, I think this, and for the feeling of the citizens also.
How long is your festival?
Since 2012. 2012.
How many
7
days?
years, 7 festivals. 3 days. It's
3 days?
Yes.
Okay.
3 days.
Our project is 11 months a year, every night. So kind of permanent.
But
project
it's
since
permanent?
3 years, yeah. So
Okay.
it's a different dynamic.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
really
yeah,
have to be part of the day-to-day of the
Yeah, yeah.
people living there.
I had this question for you. It's permanent.
Yeah.
You
By night and by day, you see the augmented reality
Yeah.
and the application
Yeah.
and the
but
point of entry.
night every day. you
Every
can-
day. In the winter, I would say it's 4 days, and we close one month for maintenance in April, I think.
Alors, ça va m'amener justement cette question de la durée à vous poser une autre question. C'est finalement comment faire vivre, parce que l'événementiel, ça dure quelques jours, alors, mis à part avec Michel à Montréal, donc où on a une durée sur 11 mois. Finalement, comment ces événements réinterrogent la stratégie des villes sur la lumière pérenne et comment faire vivre aussi cet événement tout au long de l'année, si effectivement la stratégie sur une lumière pérenne n'est pas mise en œuvre par les villes. Et je serais très intéressé par les réponses de Oulu, parce que je crois que vous avez cette volonté à chaque fois, au moment du festival, de pérenniser une des œuvres.
Yes, our strategy has been that every year we launch at least one permanent lightning during the festival, so that year by year the amount of permanent lightning is growing. And this is something which our inhabitants really appreciate. And the pieces are situated in different kind of places, also in suburb areas. For example, we opened about 2 years ago a new multi-purpose house in a new area, and there is we use maybe in many countries you use so-called percentage principle, so that you take 1% of the building costs and use it for art, and light art was decided to have in that building. There are about 700 pupils going in that house every day, so it's something that we can really bring art into everyday life through the light. Of course, during the summertime it's impossible, because in summer it's so light that we don't need any artificial lightning in during June, July.
No, I think in our case, Barcelona has opened a test period with a festival, because the city didn't allow many projects with dynamic lighting or projections lighting in the perennial lighting. So with this festival, they open this test period, and I hope it can be grow the possibilities in the future. But it's a long time, I think, working for this.
I'd also like to add that it's really important that we collaborate with people who are not so-called cultural people. That has been the way to have more permanent lighting, that we have directors in technical sector who are enthusiastic with the light, who want to use also the money of the technical sector, because their money is bigger than the cultural sector's money.
Est-ce que c'est un élément de la stratégie à Leeds?
When I was talking earlier, we talked about our participation. So whilst we currently only have one permanent light installation, which are the light benches, we are looking at how we can develop that in the future. But for me, it's about the audience and what the audience experience is. So we do have things that they take away that they've made, whether it's through our parade and they've made a lantern, or they've made an illuminated banner, whether it's a light that they've made, you know, with a jar. So that's how, in people's homes, we can work throughout the year. And also our participatory projects do start quite earlier on in the year. It's not just the 2 nights of the festival.
If I may add, because our project is permanent since 3 years and going on for many other years, we establish a kind of dialogue between the permanent lighting and actually Montreal is getting better and better to light their beautiful facades. So when we started the project, between each beautiful facade, there was a blind wall. And we install ourselves mostly on blind wall. Those blind walls are not lit, they're considered ugly. And actually they have layers of history in them. Dirty history, not the beautiful facade history. So that's why it's kind of touching, I think. And it's we don't have to close the light on the beautiful facade. It's a kind of dialogue. And I think we just have to see the evolution of architectural design, lighting design. It started with lamp, with filament, and now it's LED light. Then you can change color easily. And then it will become more and more possible to light a building with video. So to add some sense to the light, some more meaning. There's already a meaning to architectural light, but to add another layer of meaning. So I think the cross between architectural lighting, installation, art installation about light, all this will merge together in a way to create these kind of animated city that will pulse with the heart of the city.
Michel Lemieux, c'est extrêmement intéressant votre projet. Et vous avez bien évoqué que, avant que votre projet existe, Cité Mémoire, dans une partie du quartier historique de la ville, il y a beaucoup, je pense autour du quartier des spectacles, beaucoup de projections, je vais être un peu provocateur, qui ne servent à rien, puisque ça fait très longtemps qu'il y a des projections à Montréal que les gens ne voient plus et qui participent, à mon avis, peut-être pas à une pollution lumineuse, mais à peu d'intérêt. Vous avez de la vidéo que les gens ne regardent plus, contrairement à votre projet. Et vous avez aussi souligné que de toute manière, et c'est une difficulté puisqu'on a travaillé à Montréal pour créer un parcours lumière, c'est que tout le monde laisse la lumière allumée. Et ces projections vidéo qui existent depuis quelques années, qui étaient très innovantes, de mon point de vue, qu'est-ce que vous en pensez? Elles ne servent pas à grand-chose. Je m'entends bien, je ne parle pas de Cité Mémoire. Hein.
At the beginning of cinema, you had les frères Lumière, the Lumière brothers. Actually, the history of it is they were doing a little pause between a magic show made by Robert Houdin and Méliès, actually. So these guys came with a kind of technical installation, really innovation, and they made a stunt. There was a train coming to you and everybody was in a awe. This was the beginning of the cinema. It took many, many decades before Eisenstein and before Murnau, before great director did actually piece of art with this machine, cinema. I think it's the same thing with giant projections. When I started more than 35 years ago, I was working with slides and 16mm films and things. So I saw really the evolution of technology. And I'm a little boy, like with my Christmas gift, every time there's a new technology going out. And nowadays it's possible to do giant animated projections. It's the beginning of it. And a lot of people are doing, I would say, the first degree use of it. They would do just effects, or they would do, there's a lot of motion design, so what we call graphic lines and things like that, which is interesting. You can ask yourself about the meaning of all those effects, you know. The meaning is, of course, the basic meaning, the basic function is to make you wow, but what is after the wow? Is there something after the wow? And that's, I think it's just because it's the beginning of those technology, and more people, sometime at La Place des Festivals in Montreal, I see a beautiful piece. And sometimes I see pieces done. Actually, the problem is you give a great screen to artists. At the Place des Festivals, mostly young artists, but you don't give them money to produce. They have little money to produce. Usually we put a lot of money in equipment, a lot of money in beautiful buildings, but no money for creator to do the thing. Giant projections is a bit like making a movie. It takes a lot of money. And it took almost 6 years to raise the money for Cité Mémoire before becoming the actual project. It's like a feature film budget. But if I would have the same budget that they have to do the projection I wouldn't do it actually, because it's too little means of production to really stop yourself for years doing something. So everything is done a bit fast and a bit formal, in a formal way. I think we need to reflect on what we do, and this takes time, takes a lot of people, and takes a will to not only put technology in a city, but put content and research, artistic research in the city, I think.
Hi. I have a question about the budget for all the projects, because you know the project is take a lot of money. So, like, I'm from Palestine, and we are thinking to make a festival like in 2 or 3 years in Palestine. So, like, my question was about the budget, how much it costs.
Budget. Pardon? Okay, Cité Mémoire is really a strange economical model, because we want it free for people. For me, I'm really proud that homeless can see this project. You don't have to have a phone to see this project. Of course, if you have a phone or a tablet, any kind of tablet, you can download for free the application, then they can talk to you, you have more information. If you, for every tableau, we have always a little text at the end which explains more the historical facts. So the tableau can be really poetic, and the historical facts at the end, and then you can play plus, and you have more facts, and then you can record a link on the website, and then you can go to your place and study. But if you don't have a phone, you just walk by, and as a director, I was always looking at the whole thing without the sound. So there's a first level of reading the piece without sound. We are telling a story without sound. It's a less rich story, it's less, factual story, but it's still so homeless can see that. And some of the sites are interactive, you don't need a phone, some have sound. So for me, it's for everybody. So when we started the project, people said, okay, you can sell the application. We're gonna do $3-4 Canadian by application. It's not a good way. I think I really insisted, so it's free. So it's all government money. We pay a lot of tax. In Canada, especially in Quebec, we pay a lot of taxes, so we're not shy to go to the government. So it was the city, the government of the city was the province of Quebec, and then it was Canada. And it's about, project is more than 20 million Canadian dollar, which is about 15 million euro, something like that. And we did it with everybody made an effort, because for 5 hours of content in 4 languages, original content, 4 languages, we decided not to go with even it's a project about history, we didn't go with archives. So we shot in a studio. Every characters are in fact actors or extras or dancers. We shot them to have the same light and same artistic direction. So it's like shooting a movie. So 15 million euros is a normal budget for a big movie. So this is about it. And but it took 6 years to raise and convince people. But the government always said to us, your project is great, we need this kind of project. So there's a need for that, I think, about projects that unify people. And we have to unify ourselves each nation, but I think we have to unify ourselves with our past, especially in America, where we don't remember. We just don't remember what happened before, so we have to unify ourselves.
Elisa?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for your presentations. I don't think if the ladies already answered about the budget, so I wish to hear that. And also, I would like to know, how do you calculate the visitors? Do you have sensors or some kind of measurement for the amount of people? How do you do that?
On behalf of Light Night Leeds, because of the way that the city's set up, we have what we call magic eyes at certain parts of the city. So we always actually go for a lower estimate, because one of the things is people come in and out, people are residents, so we actually get the figures, and we also have things inside venues, inside. They're not ticketed, but for crowd control, we can only let a certain amount of people in. So we gather all that information, and working with an external evaluator, we sort of come up with a percentage based on, well, repeat visitors and coming in out. You know, they've gone to the car, they've come back to the car, they've walked around. So that's how we make that calculation.
About the budget, if we think about the pure city money for just the festival, it's about 170,000 euros per year. But we also have enterprises as partners, and they produce on their own cost several pieces every year. And we don't count the normal costs of our personnel and venues and that kind of thing into the budget. And the other question was audience figures. Yes, I'm not a specialist in that question, but we use the same method as we use in every event, so that we can compare different events between.
So the budget is all the budget from the council. It's €1 million, and we work with an artist installation, different fees, different budget. It depends, and a fixed fee from the schools. For each school, the same fee. About that? How many? No, it's free for the visitors.
How do you measure the amount of visitors? How do you calculate the visitors?
With contours in the
Sensors?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Abdelrahman Mjdoubi from Rabat. My English is bad, sorry. Thank you for your presentation. Je vais demander en français. Vous savez que les festivals Lumières, ça coûte cher pour les municipalités. Sans partenaire, on ne peut pas réaliser vraiment de festival. Mais ma question, comment intégrer la lumière événementielle dans une stratégie pérenne, vu que les installations sont liées avec le développement des technologies? Comment rendre la lumière événementielle pérenne? Merci.
Perhaps one question in line with your question. Is the creativity of permanent light and event light the same?
The permanent lighting, if we talk about the city, it's part of our annual budget, so that it's kind of an investment. For example, this year we launched a big lighting which goes through the city center, and it was about 1.5 million euros. So they go to the different ways, but we of course collaborate with the technical sector, which is responsible for the permanent lighting, and they are also members in our festival network, which meets permanently during the year.
And in Barcelona, the public lighting, it's really functional in my point of view, but it's difficult to introduce the new technologies, the new light possibilities with plastic and artistic language, with the measure and with criteria, no? Not colors, not colors for colors without sense. And we are working in this way, but it's not easy.
I think for me, artists that are doing permanent lighting, architectural lighting, not moving lighting, are real artists, artists of architectural light. And there's artists that does painting and other that does projections. And I think you really need an artistic sense to do permanent lighting, because the technology nowadays is mixing all the possibilities. Once I was doing the tour of Cité Mémoire with Gilles Arpin, who is a great permanent architectural lighting designer in Montreal. He did many beautiful buildings. And he said to me, you know, the difference between my art and your art is your art is moving and you're adding sense and emotion to mine, which is more static. But architectural lighting is differently, especially in Europe. You have incredibly beautiful piece of art in permanent lighting. I think we need creation everywhere in our life.
I think we have to work, like you say, in why, not in the wow way. Yeah. So. Yes.
The how will come easy when the how we do things will come easy if the why we do things is very clear. And sometimes, if the why is very clear, the how is minimal and doesn't cost so much money. What costs money is to put a lot of money in things, but not think before about the why.
Right, thank you. I think it's time to close this session. So thank you to all of you, and I propose a big applause for them. Thank you.